Interesting situation as we end the month of June. We know much more than we did previously, but we still don't know everything, and a lot of stuff is still up in the air. That's a lot of stuff to be talking about. I'm your host, Frank Carr. Today in the BWI Daily Edition, I'm going to define the word stuff for you more accurately. Recruits that have some young men have some decisions to make in this next couple of days, in this next month or so, that's going to determine the class of 2023 for Penn State and the future of the program with this class. So we're going to get into the updated information, and what we're really doing is we're going to do a mock class. All the official visits are now over. The players have we have a better read on where some of those players are going, where some of those players are leaning. And if you want all that information, and you want that in real time every day, BlueWhiteIllustrated.com is the place to get it. The BWI Daily Edition lives at BlueWhiteIllustrated.com, but also on the Lions and Measures forum and with premium content. Ryan Snyder is dishing out all of his recruiting insight. So we'll get to all of that information. What we're doing is we're going to take all of that and we're going to produce a mock class for you. I did this earlier in the year. There was a little bit of wish fulfillment. I tried to make it realistic in the sense of Penn State wasn't going to bat 1,000 and get all of their top prospects. But I gave him Samson Okunlola at offensive tackle. Is it possible? I don't know, but I used all the magic wish and fairy dust in that particular simulation to give them that. This time around, we know more information, and we have a better insight into how things are going to go, and we're going to be a little more conservative with some of our estimations. We still have to make some estimations, though, because we're recording this now about 3 o'clock on Wednesday the 29th. Normally, the show's out by 3 o'clock, but King Mack announced in the afternoon that he is now committing tomorrow on the 30th. King Mack, 4-star safety from St. Thomas Aquinas. He was supposed to make his announcement today. We waited to talk about that on the show if it was going to happen. The fallout, the implications, that didn't happen. It's happening tomorrow. So while Penn State is still the pick here, do you feel good about it? Making a delay in the decision sounds like it's not an easy decision. Some of the other information we know, at least from Ryan Snyder and what he's gathered from his sources and from what he's seen, what his opinion on these things that you should absolutely trust, is that Tony Rojas, Tammy Robinson, Penn State's top linebacker targets, he thinks they're going to get both of them. He's logged a pick for Tony Rojas, hasn't for Tammy Robinson yet, but expects both of them on the 5th and the 15th to make that decision. Tony Rojas, he's committing next week. I think the 5th is Tuesday. So that's coming sooner rather than later. So that's some of the information we know, and we're reading the vibe on a bunch of these guys. So again, BlueWhiteIllustrated.com, that's where you want to go and get the information in real time to get all the context. But what we're doing is we're taking that, we're going to make a class out of it. So to start, let's review where Penn State is as of right now. Class of 2023 on offense. Quarterback Marcus Stokes, wide receiver Johnny Shakir and Yazid Haynes. No running backs right now. Tight end Andrew Rapelier and Joey Schlaffer, 2 4-star tight ends. Great position for the offense. 2 guys that are borderline 5 stars, Alex Birchmeier, Javen Williams, and then Anthony Donko on the offensive line. Here's how I see the offense going. This is what I think they have room for and what would be wise. 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 2 offensive linemen, which, if you're watching here on YouTube, comes down to a decision. Is it London Montgomery or is it Treyaun Webb at running back? I think that should be a decision you make, but they can take both. There's nothing that says that I'm right. There's nothing that says they shouldn't take both. Even at the end of this particular simulation, you'll see we're not at a full class, but to leave room for elite prospects at more important positions than running back, I think it's wise to take one of those. So that's the offense. Now let's take a look at the defense. Here's where they are in the class of 2023. Great start at the defensive line with Nittany Lions and Tamarian Parker, 2 very talented players. One of them a high 4-star. Matthias Barnwell, Tyreek Blanding at defensive tackle. Again, high upside players, a lot of potential, a lot of talent. Lamont Payne at corner, and then safeties Conrad Hussey and Dakari Nelson. This is how this works out. I think 1 defensive line spot for a defensive tackle, 2 linebackers, 1 corner, and 2 safeties. Couple of issues on defense that we're going to get into now. First off, you see here Derek LeBlanc, Jason Moore. Those are 2 elite players, 1 position. So in this simulation, again, we're not going to go shoot the moon, and they're not going to get both of these high 4-star defensive tackles. That has not been the history for Penn State football, although they are making significant strides in that area. Linebacker. Are they going to add a Kavion Keys and go with 3 linebackers? I don't think so. I think the 2 linebackers they're going to add are the 2 we already talked about, in Tony Rojas and Tamir Robinson. And then we get into the secondary. This is interesting, and this is the reason that I don't think they're going to add Kavion Keys, is they view that field backer position, what Manny Diaz at Miami called the striker position, that's a safety. They've moved 2 safeties over there, and they've moved their linebackers from Sam linebacker over to Will. Jamari Button is a Will linebacker now. So you need more safeties. They have 2 already, but if you count, and I do, Dakari Nelson as that field backer, and you count Conrad Hussey as a free safety, the field safety, you still need 1 more at least. Is that King Mack? Is he going to be the guy there? And even then, do you add another so that you have 1 of each position and then a 4th as a guy that can play multiple positions? I think that'd be smart. I think that would be the way to go. That also helps you solve the cornerback problem. Now, here's the other player we have not mentioned, and here's really the rub of why there's some difficulty with the projection at the moment. So, Cam Seldon, one of the best athletes in this class, one of the best players in the country, top 100 player. We've been projecting him as a safety the whole time. That's how we've been discussing him. He's a key part of the Penn State class of 2023, but now he's talking about playing offense, whether it's running back or receiver. So, does Penn State take 3 running backs here? Because right now, Cam Seldon would be the best of all of those players. And he doesn't even play the position. Because athletically, he's explosive like Montgomery, but he's big like Webb. He's the complete deal. Or is he receiver? You can take 3 receivers. There's a spot open there. But do you need to after taking so many last year? And that comes back to the safety position. It worked out perfectly if he was that safety that could play any 3 of the positions because he's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's an elite physical talent. Now you got to figure that part out. And the cornerback position is the interesting one. There is an easy solve, but I don't know that it's going to happen. And that is Jakeem Jackson. He is friends, and this is, you can check this out yesterday on the BWI Daily where Ryan Snyder was talking about this, and his teammate at Osceola, Derek LeBlanc, apparently they want to go to the same school or they want to announce at the same time. Penn State's in recruiting both of them. I don't see another place that is recruiting both of them. That doesn't mean that's not happening, though. I have a hard time seeing Derek LeBlanc at Penn State from everything I've seen. Me reading the vibes, I just don't know if that's going to happen. So where are you going to get that another corner? That's where we're going to get into with the projection for the players they're going to add. Also important to point out that Ryan has put in a pick for Treyaun Webb. So let's take a look at the additions. They're taking both running backs in this situation. Doesn't matter what I think. That's what we are projecting here. Both Montgomery and Webb, adding an offensive tackle in Evan Link, and then Cam Seldon at receiver. I am very unconfident about that particular situation. Is that going to happen? I think it'd be very exciting, but I don't know. That one seems to be a very hard one to read. Let's talk about offensive line. Evan Link is the number 1 target, but then outside of that, 2 players that came to Penn State at the very end of the official visit period in Stanton Ramel from Alabama via New York and Miles Walker. I'm not confident enough knowing anything about that situation. I think it's too new to really project anything. So right now, Penn State doesn't add either of them, and they have an open spot at tackle that they're going to continue, again, with shoot the moon for Samson Okunlola, those other 2 players, their possibilities. That's all great. Leave that spot open for now, and you've still got a class that is 99% filled. Okay, so Cam Seldon is now at receiver, which changes some of the things on the defensive side of the ball. Jason Moore has a longer relationship with Penn State. He's closer. It just feels like that's going to be the thing if there's anything. And again, I'm not confident about this one either. I think it is a toss-up between Notre Dame and Penn State. Linebacker, feel confident at least about that from what we talked about with Robinson and Rojas. And then here's where we're going to find the solution here at corner. Yazid Haynes Is he a corner? Is he a receiver? He's been recruited as both. He seems fine with that. He flips to offense with Cam Seldon. And despite the fact that he postponed a day from making the announcement, we're still giving the Nittany Lions King Mack because Ryan has a pick in for him. And it seems like that's the fit. That's going to be what's going to happen. So Penn State has 3 safeties, 2 of them from St. Thomas Aquinas, and they flip Yazeed Haynes over. But again, there's a lot of ways that corner safety combination can go. I think TJ Metcalf is another good addition to this class that could happen at the safety position if they move Conrad Hussey over to corner, which in my opinion, long-term, that's where he really is going to play best. I think he is an elite coverage corner, maybe not physically dominant, but he has some of the best hips in this class. He can run, he can turn, he can make plays on the ball. I think those man coverage, shadowing skills, versatility, that's going to be where he is best long term. Does that happen or not? It's my opinion. That's what I think. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? But that would mean there's another spot open at safety. So I think even kind of like tight end, even if they have 3 now, I'd still eye that position as where they're going to add more players in the future. And this leaves them the opportunity, if they do want to go after Kavion Keys and add him to the linebacker position, maybe something great happens on the offensive side. They can still add one of those tackles. Maybe another receiver. They want to add something that way. All of that has the flexibility to happen. But really, there's still a lot to find out at that secondary position. Going back to linebackers for 1 second. Is Penn State married to playing safeties at that third linebacker position? Because Tony Rojas is really, really fast. He is so fast. He's got safety-like qualities. But as of right now, Penn State has a blueprint. We're going to stick to that. So if they take 3 linebackers, they're all playing in the box. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch going forward as well. So that'll do it today for the BWI Daily Edition. Of course, if King Mack decides he's going to commit on Thursday to the Nittany Lions, we'll have up-to-date breaking news on that. And even if he doesn't, we'll talk about the impact of the class. We'll talk about what the next steps are and how Penn State can adjust from that particular situation. But no matter what, the BWI Daily Edition is coming back tomorrow with news and, of course, your mailbag on Thursday. So subscribe if you're watching here on YouTube. Subscribe if you're listening to your podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for downloading the episode. We love you. Make sure you leave a comment on Apple Podcasts. I think that's important. And, of course, BlueWhiteIllustrated.com, your place for up-to-the-date Penn State information, football, basketball, hockey, all of it. I'm your host, Frank Carr. We'll talk to you tomorrow.